Hey Matt, thanks for your submission. So we're going to look at your paragraph on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So I remember you said that the title of this was How is Dr. Lanyon presented in this extract and the novel as a whole? Now, ideally, if you could also let me know the past paper so that I know the extract. Luckily, because it's Dr. Lanyon, there's only a couple of extracts that it could be. And also if you could put the question next time as well, just so it's nice and clear, rather than in the email, put it in the actual document. Anyway, in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and because this is the title of the text, you want to put this in italics if you're typing, or you want to put little single quote marks if you're handwriting it. In Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, make sure you get the title correct, because that is a simple little thing for your accuracy, basically. Dr. Lanyon is presented as the perfect Victorian gentleman in the second chapter. So I'm guessing that's where the extract was, which is the first time we see Dr. Lanyon. This is by the use of repetitive positive adjectives: hearty, healthy, dapper, red-faced gentleman. Okay, great. So we've got these quite positive adjectives, as you say, and then we've got this sort of image as well of the red-faced gentleman. The connotations of red-faced in particular show that at this time, he is full of life and energy, and this also links to the theme of life and health, which Dr. Lanyon represents at this early stage in the novel. Okay, so that's really good, because you've talked about the connotations of something in your quote, so that's really, really good. Maybe I'll zoom it out a little bit. You should still be able to see it fine. Great. Using terminology. You've used the obviously positive adjectives as well, so that's really good. The idea then that the quote links to a theme is really, really good. I teach this thing called Glavis, and the I of Glavis stands for ideas. So the idea that you've linked it to the themes of life and health are quite interesting. You could probably go further, which is you could talk about, this maybe makes sense since he's a doctor, a medical doctor. So you could add a little more knowledge of the character that's known as AO1, which is one of the 3 major assessment objectives for you. This is a positive description of Dr. Lanyon and makes everyone think that he is what is expected of a Victorian gentleman. Excellent. So you're starting to try to tie into context. You should zoom in more to go into more AO3 detail here. You could talk about some of the expectations on Victorian gentlemen. So the idea that they're always full of life and energy, well-groomed, healthy, handsome, all that stuff, you could add a bit more to the concept of a Victorian gentleman there, and that's going to boost your AO3. Another way Dr. Lanyon is presented is the use of crowding patients. This symbolizes that he is the best doctor there is. So doctor there is, as everyone wants to be treated by him. Also, this is imagery, as you can imagine, a long line of people trying to get into one place. This shows he is a well-respected doctor, as people are crowded around his house. This imagery also creates a very loud and energetic atmosphere around Dr. Lanyon. This will make the reader think that he is the perfect Victorian gentleman, as he is always helping, and you can see he is wanted by most. A Victorian gentleman is someone who is always dressed smart, doesn't say a bad word about someone, and you don't drink outside your own home. Okay, so this bit here is some good extra detail. I'm not sure about the drinking outside your home bit. I think what you're trying to say is restraint with alcohol, or the idea that you shouldn't be I think what you're referring to is that Dr. Lanyon is sat with a glass of wine when Mr. Utterson comes in, but you could clarify that a bit more as well. So in a nutshell, I think that you've done two really well chosen quotes. They are both from the extract, since I'm assuming the extract was from chapter 2. Try to have a quote from the extract and then another quote from somewhere else in the play, or the text, in this case the novel, sorry. My suggestion is you could zoom in more on the first quote. You talk about the positive connotations, or the positive adjectives, sorry, but then don't explain them. So that could be more AO2. Overall, good AO1, so that's your understanding of the text, but some opportunities to go deeper. And then I would say that your understanding of the Victorian gentleman is good, but I think that you probably want to put more detail about Victorian gentleman for your first quote, and then do a different type of context for your second quote. You don't want to have the same context twice, really. So maybe for the second one, with the crowding patients, you could talk about the progression of medical science throughout the Victorian era. And you could even go a step further. You could talk about Robert Louis Stevenson himself. He was dying of tuberculosis as he wrote this novella. So there's a few links there. But overall, I think it's a good start there, Matt. And I would recommend you join my Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde course. And if you need any extra feedback from this, just get back in touch with me, okay?